Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins. In the last episode, Mayuri, also known as Lab Member 002, Mayushi, of the Future Gadget Laboratory, was murdered in cold blood by none other than Lab Member 005, Moeka Kiryu, aka Shining Finger, who revealed herself to be none other than a certain sleeper agent, intent on appropriating the time leap machine, and either taking Rintaro, Kurisu and Daru along with her, or probably silencing them right then and there. Thanks to an unfortunately late rescue attempt by Suzuha, Rintaro was decided to throw caution to the wind and use the time leap machine to try and avert this disastrous tragedy. Meanwhile, it is raining. No matter how many times I called her name, Mayuri doesn't answer. Mayuri is standing in front of her grave, gazing at the sky. So this appears to be a memory of earlier times, possibly before the founding of the Future Gadget Laboratory. The grave belongs to her grandmother, who died when Mayuri was 11 years old. Mayuri did mention this when she wondered about using the time leap machine in order to go back to elementary school, so that she could see her grandmother. Her parents were always busy with work, so her grandmother was her only companion. I was close to Mayuri's family, so the death of her grandmother was sad for me too. At the wake, I expected Mayuri to break down and cry. She didn't. Instead, she spent the whole time gazing vacantly at her grandmother's memorial portrait. 6 months went by. I had advanced to middle school, so Mayuri and I no longer commuted together. But whenever I passed the cemetery on the way home, Mayuri would always be standing there. Every day, rain or shine, she would stand for hours before the grave, staring wordlessly at the sky, as if she could see her grandmother in heaven. In her hands, an old pocket watch. The watch had belonged to her grandmother. Mayuri always held it when visiting the grave. The watch that Mayushi has rather appropriately named Pockety, the watch with the rather unique design on the clock face. No matter how many times I called her name, Mayuri did not answer. Back then, Mayuri wouldn't talk to anyone, not to me, not even to her parents. Whenever I saw her standing there, staring at the sky, I felt unease grip my heart. Her gaze was so earnest, her intentions so pure, that I feared that some power might grant her wish, and carry her off to heaven to join her beloved grandmother. And so, to ensure that nothing like that happened, I made sure to stop by the cemetery every day. I would stand next to the sky-gazing Mayuri and call her name.
Mayuri.
But no matter how many times I'd call her, Mayuri wouldn't reply. The only sound in the lonely cemetery was the echo of my voice, calling her name. It was raining that day too. Mayuri had a light blue umbrella. In contrast to the umbrella's color, the sky was glazed grey, covered in clouds. After a while, the rain stopped. Rays of light shone through gaps in the clouds, a stunningly beautiful sight. Rembrandt's rays, they're called, or sometimes the angel's ladder. I've seen this phenomenon myself numerous times. Suddenly a strong wind swept through the cemetery. It caught Mayuri's umbrella and carried it into the sky. Mayuri finally made a sound. Mayuri seemed not to notice. She kept staring at the sky. And then slowly, so very slowly, she stretched out her hand to the sky, as if to grasp the rays of light, as if her grandmother was reaching down to pull her up. We've seen this before. In the years to come, Rintaro Okabe would call this phenomenon shaking hands with stardust. And then she lifted herself on her toes. To me it looked as if she were floating up towards heaven. Impulsively, I grabbed Mayuri's outstretched hand and pulled her into my embrace. In retrospect, my fears were just a childish fantasy, but at the time I truly believed that Mayuri might vanish. She's quite notorious for doing that.
どこにも行かせないぞ。
Rintaro refuses to let her leave. Not even the Almighty will keep Mayuri Shida away from Rintaro
連れて
Okabe.
なんて行かせない。
I realized how embarrassing the words coming from my own mouth were.
マユリは俺の人質だ。人体実験の生贄なんだ。
And it was at that moment that Rintaro Okabe decided to make Mayuri Shina his own personal hostage. It was the first excuse that came to mind. Before her grandmother died, Mayuri and I were fans of a popular TV series about costumed heroes battling evil. I particularly admired the villain, a mad scientist. I even got pretty good at mimicking his lines. So we are bearing witness, adventurers, to the birth of the insane mad scientist, Hououin Kyouma. Now I was doing it to hide my embarrassment. I could feel my face growing red, but I kept up the mad scientist act all the same. If nothing else, it was better than admitting my insecurities.
どこにも逃がさないからな。
The awkward laugh of a frightened child. As I said this, I realized that Mayuri was shaking. She spoke. She whispered. It was the first time in 6 months that I heard her speak. Her voice was choked with tears. Indeed you are, Mayushi. As I said before, Rintaro won't even let the Almighty take you away. She smiled happily. Tears fell from her eyes. And then Mayuri buried her face in my chest. Where am I? Who am I? I can't see. I can barely think. A terrible screech fills my head, like feedback from a giant speaker. Well, I can only assume that that is the time leap machine working its magic, and imbuing us with the memories from the events yet to come. It penetrates my brain like 100 sharp needles stabbing me right behind the eyes. I thought brains weren't supposed to feel pain. If brains couldn't feel pain, something would be wrong with you, and you would probably need to get examined at some point. A voice. And there's more. I feel a shiver of pleasure beneath the pain, and a terrible itching like my body is on fire. Again, the ominous voice. I want to crack open my skull and tear out my brain. I want to scrape out my soft grey matter with my fingers and eat it. The assault on my brain is driving me crazy. Who am I?
ちょっと岡部、どうしたのよ。
Suddenly, the shattered pieces of the world reform, and it appears that our memories are finally reasserting themselves. I slowly come back to my senses. I'm in the lab, standing in front of the PhoneWave TBA with my cell phone to my ear. No, not the PhoneWave TBA. Since the headgear is attached to it, it's now a time-leap machine. It's hard to believe. To breathe. Give me oxygen. I hear a low wheezing groan and realize that it's coming from my own throat. Well, at least we know the side effects of using the time leap machine, which I suppose is the only silver lining to this. I close my mouth, then take a deep breath. Yeah, I imagined it would be quite painful having a whole bunch of memories from the future imprint themselves on your past self. The inside of my throat feels like it's burning. I resist the urge to cough and continue filling my lungs with air. I notice that I'm drenched in sweat. The drops sliding down my forehead are annoying. I try to wipe them away with the back of my hand. My hand obeys, slowly. Well, at least we have motor function. Something's off. It's like my body and my mind aren't totally in sync with each other. Almost as if this isn't really my body. As if my nerves aren't communicating properly with my extremities. I try blinking slowly. This might just be my imagination. Could this be exhaustion? I haven't slept much lately. I try to move my hand again. There is no disconnect this time. This is indeed my body.
Okabe? 聞いてる?
Apparently the voice behind us is none other than Kurisu. A familiar voice. I turn around slowly. Kurisu is there. She stares at me, perplexed.
どうしたのよ。急にすごい声出して。
Do you not see us with our cell phone to our ear? What is she talking about?
具合悪いの?
We're feeling pretty disoriented on account of having future memories pouring into our consciousness. I try answering, but my voice doesn't work too well. Even more bewildered, I clear my throat several times.
いや、問題ない。
As much as fine is in this case.
そう。だったらさっさと出かける準備しなさいよ。
買い出し行くんでしょ？
Shopping? What are you talking about?
買い出し
For what? I search my memories. The moment I do, images appear in my mind like a string of exploding light bulbs. White light.
人間は根源的に時間的存在者である。
Humans are indeed temporal beings. Or temporal. I keep saying that wrong.
もう大丈夫だね。
And now Mayuri. And finally, the event that led to our time leap. The reason why we're here.
タイムリープしてもいいの？
Now it all comes together. I remember now. I used the time leap machine.
未来の記憶を思い出すのよ。
Indeed. Reading Steiner didn't activate, by the way. That's right. What am I standing around here for?
ここはどこだ？
は？
I grab Kurisu's shoulders and pull her close.
今は何時だ？何月何日の何時何分だ？
痛い。落ち着け。
落ち着いていられるか？買い出しって言ったか？
Which shopping trip is she talking about? That's a very good question. Daru is sitting at his computer, staring at us with wide eyes. Well, it looks like the time leap phenomenon is less than perfect.
ダル、今日は何日だ？今は何時なんだ
？13日の5時ちょっと過ぎだけど。
It's still August the 13th, just after 5 o'clock.
成功したのか？
I think it might have worked, but I'm not really sure what we're trying to do here, because we didn't send a D-mail. There's our box to John Titer. Do you have a daughter named Suzuha? Or do you know someone named Barrel Titer? If you do, contact us at once. Did I manage to time leap in the middle of all that chaos? Not really sure just what we're actually supposed to be doing with the phone here, because I know that message is very important, but did my memories really jump through time? Don't know if I'm supposed to call the phone wave or something, but or maybe we should call Mayuri. Sorry, I was just figuring out what to do there.
Mayuri, 今どこに？
ただいま電話に出ることができません。
Ah yes, we were actually supposed to call Mayuri, but unfortunately we got her voicemail.
ピーってなったら伝言をどうぞ。
Mayuri,
We need to find Mayuri
今すぐ俺
right
に連絡を
away.
くれ。わかったな。今すぐだ。
We need to go looking for her. I hang up. I look at my watch again. It's just past 5. Thank God for the time leap machine. It makes me shiver to imagine what would have happened without it. I have 3 hours until Moriko kills Mayuri. We should probably tell the others to actually get the hell out of Dodge. Everything's going to be okay. That's plenty of time to escape. But first we actually have to find Mayuri. First I'll meet up with Mayuri and leave Akihabara. We can go to Ikebukuro. Wait, what if they're watching her house? And not to mention the fact that, just before they arrived, there was that news bulletin about the, terrorist bomb threat. Maybe we should hop the bullet train and get out of Tokyo entirely. Anyway, we're fine as long as Moriko doesn't find her today. So first, we need to find Mayuri as quickly as possible. And then find a way out of Akihabara.
目が血走っちゃってるけど、どうしたの？
That's because we're Hououin Kyouma, the insane mad scientist. Also, we should probably tell them about CERN is about to raid the Future Gadget Laboratory and take the time leap machine. So we need to actually do something to prepare for that. Kurisu and Daru look at me with concern.
二人とも今すぐここから離れろ。
At least tell them the a brief overview or the details as to why, otherwise they're just going to be lost and confused.
どういうこと？
I check my wallet. I only have 9,000 yen and some change. I'll need to stop by an ATM and withdraw everything I have.
何よ？また中二病？
Yes, another Chunibiu fantasy. Right. Kurisu shrugs her shoulders dumbfounded. I don't have time to answer her. I slip by her and dash out of the lab.
岡部、どこ行くのよ？おい！
Should probably have let them know what we were trying to do. Then again, Rintaro is in a bit of panic at the moment. I run full speed to Yonebayashi's shrine. Naturally, I have to stop for breath before I get more than a few blocks. The sun is setting, but the temperature still hasn't dropped below 30. Probably should have called Rukuko in advance. Sweat quickly covers my entire body. I'm not good at exercise. I finally stagger through the archway. Now I regret not borrowing Suzuha's bicycle. But no, there wasn't time for that. Finding Mayuri comes first. I run to the courtyard where I find Rukuko standing alone with her bamboo broom.
ルカ子。
岡部さん。
She bows her head. There's no time for ceremonial formalities.
マユリはどうだ？
まゆりちゃんだったら、もう帰りましたけど。
That is not good.
帰った。
She left.
はい。後でまゆりちゃんにごめんなさいって伝えてくれませんか？
Sorry for what, Rukuko? Actually,
やっぱりどうしてもコスプレはできませんって断っちゃって。
appears even as a woman in this world line, Rukuko doesn't like to cosplay.
まゆりちゃんを悲しませたくはなかったんですけど、やっぱり人前に出るのは恥ずかしくて。
Unfortunately, callous as it sounds, we have no time for embarrassment, Rukuko. This is a matter of life or death. Mayuri's life and death, that is. I finally catch my breath. I don't have time to listen to Rukuko's apologies.
マユリは帰ったんだな。
That means we just missed her.
あ、はい。
That doesn't make sense. I know she comes to the lab around 6:30. It's still 5:30. No matter how slowly you walk, it shouldn't take more than 20 minutes to get to the lab. So what was she doing for the extra 40 minutes? We don't have time for this.
本当に帰ったのか。どこかへ寄るとは言っていなかったか。
いえ、聞いてませんけど。
That's unfortunate, although, something has just popped into my head. Something about, costume or something, but I can't place my finger on the
岡部
details.
さん、一体何が。
もしマユリがここに戻ってきたら、すぐに俺に電話するように伝えるんだ。
That's about the best we can hope for at this point. I better check the lab. We might have missed each other. When I get back to the lab, nobody's there but Daru. Did Kurisu go shopping all by herself? I call out to him as he's ordering pizza on the computer. Hooray for internet pizzas delivery.
帰ってきてるか。
え、いや、
あいつどこへ。
And Daru is understandably perplexed because he has yet to be aware of the unfortunate events that are about to occur. I take a bottle of Dr. Pepper out of the fridge and chug it down. The cold, sparkling liquid wets my parched throat and drives the heat away. Now I can think, but I still can't relax. Every minute, every second is precious. Every moment I waste brings me closer to Mayuri's death.
オカリンさ、さっきからなんでそんなピリピリしてるん？
Probably should have mentioned the CERN
マユリの居場
raid.
所を知らないか。
Then we need
だ
to
か
get
ら
out
ル
of the
カシの
lab.
ところっしょ？
She's not at the
なか
shrine,
った。
Daru.
帰った後だった。
I start to pace in irritation.
じゃあ他のレイヤー仲間のところとか。
Actually, now that I think about it, she was competing in a costume race against Kurisu when she was developing the time leap machine. And I believe that one of her friends was named by the name of Fubuki. Unfortunately, we don't have Fubuki's address.
そのレイヤー仲間の連絡先を教えろ。
いや、知らんし。
One step forward, two steps back. It's easy to forget, since she's usually here, but Mayuri and I rarely spend time together outside of the lab. May Queen and the Shrine, that's about it. I have no idea where else she might go. May Queen doesn't exist on this world line after all.
ああ、そういえば。
It seems that Daru has finally remembered
何か知っている
something.
のか。
携帯の電源が切れそうとか言ってたような気がする。
A flat battery of all the times. Yet another setback. Not only am I unable to contact her, she might not even notice my phone calls.
なあ、一体どうしたん？
Probably a good time to let them know about the CERN raid, Rintaro.
なぜここに残っている。今すぐラボを離れろと言ったはずだ。
And Rintaro is still panicking. I sit on the sofa. I feel the weight of stress on my shoulders and in my bones.
理由もなしにそんなこと言われてもわけわからんつうか。
Again, good time to talk about the potential CERN raid that is going to
一
happen.
体何が始まるんですみたいな。
マユリが殺される。
は
セルンが本気を出してきたんだ。あと2時間で奴らは襲撃をかけてくる。だからお前は逃げろ。
え、マジ？
This isn't Hououin Kyouma speaking, Daru. This is no Chinny or Chuni Biu fantasy.
クリ
Get
スト
the
連絡を取れ
hell
るか。
out of Dodge.
あいつにもそう伝えるんだ。
Yeah, we probably should have told her that while she was still here.
あと2時間って、なんでオカリンはそれを知ってるわけよ。
3 words, Daru. Time leap machine. Daru pauses for a moment. He looks towards the development room where the time leap machine is sitting.
まさか、使ったん？
Yes, Wei. And before you ask, we had no choice. I nod gravely. I kicked Daru out of the lab and sent him home. He promised to call Kurisu for me and tell her to stay at her hotel, but a few minutes later, she calls me directly and demands an explanation. It takes some effort, but I managed to convince her to do as I say. Now I just need to wait for Mayuri to get back, but that will be in the next episode, so when we return, adventurers, we shall see if we can actually avert the disastrous events that are due to come in the next hour or so. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.